was their #2 show, Ron. Great Red Zone. By the way, this is the Great Red Zone. I worship you. I worship at the house at the foot of Redstone. Red Zone. God, Redstone. Listen, your show is fantastic.
Well, thank you, sir. That is
it's getting better and better every day. And I just live for the POS list.
Oh, we're going to have some new members this week.
I think you should.
We are going to have some new members. And
anyway, so back to this other. We appeared on Hootenanny, and because of that, Homer and Jethro, who was a comedy duo, was on the first show we were on, and Jethro Burns, who was a great mandolin player, classical mandolinist, and so forth and so on. I'll tell you a quick story from that show. They were filming it, and actually it was in Knoxville, and Jethro was from Knoxville, and he and Homer, who was a great orchestral guitar player too, did the comedy stuff, Homer and Jethro, to make money. But they were very, very great musicians. Well, Jethro and Homer looked like hillbillies. I mean, they were dressed like hillbillies. And the guy up in the tower named Mike from New Jersey says, "What are you hayseeds going to do? What song are you going to do? Hillbillies?" And Jethro said in this fake East Tennessee accent, "Well, what do you want us to do?" And he said, how about some Rachmaninoff, hillbilly? He said, "Rock who? Rachmaninoff. Let's see." And Jethro proceeds to go play Rachmaninoff on the mandolin. The guy said, "Who the hell are you?" And he said, "Sir, to you," in his normal voice, "my name is Jethro, and to you it's Jethreaux," and a couple of other expletives. True story. But we rub shoulders with the who's who of folk and country music on those shows. I mean, the Carter family, Johnny Cash, Chad Mitchell Trio, Kingston Trio never did it, neither did Peter, Paul, and Mary. Peter, Paul, and Mary didn't do it because Pete Seeger was barred from it because of his leftist leanings. God bless him. And but anyway, after that, because Jethro took a liking to us and mentored us, he told Chet Atkins about us. Chet was a good friend at RCA Records in Nashville. So in April, we go over to RCA and record 15 songs with the great Chet Atkins producing them. And then they offered us a 1-album deal on RCA the next day. He said, "You guys are better than the Kingston Trio. We just got to get you out there as fast as we can because this folk thing is getting a little long in the tooth." Began with the Kingston Trio back in about 1958 when Tom Dooley,
I remember that one,
which was a song that was only on the album because they needed a 10th song. It was really a calypso album because Harry Belafonte was really popular back then. And some disc jockey in Salt Lake City started playing that song, and the phones lit up. Then it moved to San Francisco and LA, Chicago, New York. 3 months later, it's #1 on the Billboard pop charts. And the rest is history with that. So they were the biggest act in show business from that time until the Beatles hit in 1964. So we record with Chet. He gives us all kinds of things he wants us to do with the songs. And he wants to send us to New York to record up there because he didn't want it to be viewed as a country album, although we had a country edge to us, a bluegrass edge to us. He wanted to be viewed as a folk album, and Gotham Studios up there was where the Eastern folk music acts recorded, Dylan and all of them. And so we go up there and we record at Gotham Studios. We had a 26-year-old rock and roll producer, one-hit wonder named Larry Finnegan. He was an asshole. So was the engineer. We never experienced this arrogance and rudeness of New York people. But we got used to it. We took 4 days to do what we did with 1 day with Chet. But we got it done. And while we were there, we played the big Mecca Folk Club, the Bitter End, which actually still exists up there today in Greenwich Village. And our opening act was an unknown comedian named Bill Cosby.
Oh, my.
True story. And I bought Cosby's LP, which wasn't on a label, from him. And our bass player memorized the damn thing. And the album didn't come out till 9 months later when it went to #1 on the Billboard pop charts, the only comedy album ever to do before or since. The one with Noah and the football and all that kind of stuff, all those stories he had. And so we developed our act using that. So we got signed by William Morris, a big talent agency, and they said, you got to develop your act. So we go down to Gatlinburg, rent the Greystone Hotel Playhouse, seated about 250 people. We were the only entertainment worth a darn in all of Gatlinburg and Pigeon Forge. If you can imagine that. This is 1964, the summer of 64. So we are packing them in like sardines and sold out shows 2 a night, 6 nights a week. And we were making, this is 64, we were making, 4 of us, a bass player was an equal partner. We were making $1,500 a week a piece. Think of that, 1964. I don't know what that'd be worth today. So we're getting ready for the tour in the fall and the album release. And then on August 5th, 1964, the Beatles hit the United States to tour. Almost overnight, the Kingston Trio, the biggest act in show business, played all kinds of big college arenas and whatnot, and other big halls. They were reduced from the biggest act in show business to a small theater like the Tivoli, or a club act like a Vegas club. That's it. That's how devastating that was to the folk business. So folk was gone. Peter, Paul, and Mary survived it, but just like the Kingston Trio did, they were established. So did a couple of others. Lightfoot survived it because he was a single act, and he moved more toward a pop vein. And Dylan survived it because he went electric. You remember that?
Yep,
and,
sure do.
And so there was no place for us to go. So the album was never released, and we were toast and no tour. So that was the way it went. But in 2001, we released, Chet gave me that Nashville tape in 68, and stayed in the box for 37 years. And Barbara, my wonderful wife, as you know her, says, why don't you get the music out that never got out there? So I found that tape and took it. I asked Dalton Roberts, God rest his soul, great county executive musician. You know Dalton.
Yep. Great man.
I miss him every day. And he was everybody's best friend. So I said, Dalton, where do I go in Nashville to get a reel-to-reel tape converted to a CD? And he said, you don't. Go down to Steve Wallace on Macaulay Avenue. Steve Wallace, who was sound man for Channel 9 and did a lot of voiceovers and everything, still does, said, yeah, I can do that. So he did it, and did one song. And he said, I'd like to do the whole thing. I said, well, how much did it cost? And he said, nothing. I've never done it before. So he remastered the whole album, and we had all these pictures. So we released it on my own label called Fiery Gizzard Records, and put it in folk catalogs and sent a bunch of them up to UT Knoxville. 2 weeks later, got a call from the head of alumni up there, Dave Roberts, who'd been a Red Bank boy, who'd been a fan of Cumberland Trio back in the 60s, said, why don't you guys come and do a reunion concert for homecoming? We'll take care of all the expenses and everything. So, bingo. We did at the Bijou Theater in Knoxville on November the 9th, 2001, almost 2 months to the day after 9/11. And the place was packed because it was us and the UT. We were a pretty big item back in the 60s. So most of the people were there from the 60s. And so we did that reunion concert, which was 2.5 hours. And I forgot to take the intermission. So we did 2.5 hours consecutive music there. And we recorded it with Steve Wallace on the cheap, just taking it off the soundboard. And he also rented 7 TV cameras. Each shot the whole show from their own perspective. And then we had, after the thing was over and got back to Chattanooga, we had to edit it second by second, the video footage. And so we had audio and video. And we did the same thing again in 2004. And in 2013, through a piece of luck, we found an old dilapidated tape recording, homemade tape recording of our New York record. Story's too long to tell that, but it was in bad shape. And I sent it out to a guy I'd been on an airplane who with hobby was restoring old recordings, and he did. And he restored it. Took him 4 months, but he restored it. Sounded like yesterday, so we put it out as the Cumberland Trio Lost and Found, the 1964 New York sessions. And so we had 4 pieces of music. And we still getting airplay all over the world on FM stations and that play folk and that sort of thing, bluegrass, country. And then 2015, Barbara and I put out our Haskew family CD, which is called Songs from the Fiery Gizzard. Fiery Gizzard, of course, is over in Marion County, where my dad's ancestors emanated from. Cool name, why not? And
Yeah.
the title track on that was Fiery Gizzard Blues, and it was sung by our daughter Holly Haskew Tamling, who could have been a professional singer. And so she and our granddaughter Sarah McMullen, they were just 12 at the time, sang songs on it, and Barbara and I sang. And so we had a family scrapbook of songs. So we put that out, and it got named National Folk CD of the Year by the Rural Roots Music Association. And so, and then 4 years went by, and I had the idea in mind of doing a cover song album. I'd always done our own songs, and which is what we did in the Cumberland Trio, unless they were traditional songs. And so I had this idea, I had this title of an album. I was so much older then, I'm younger than that now, which is from Bob Dylan's My Back Pages. And then Barbara, back in November, finally said, why don't you get the damn thing done? Go out, go record that album, pick songs and record it. And so I did. So from January to down at Mike Hedrick's studio in Micron in South Pittsburgh, as good a studio as anything in the world. Great musicians playing on it. I recorded 33 songs with, if you don't mind a shameless plug.
Oh, that's why I got you here.
There it is. The old music man. He looks old. I was so much older then. You can see the Hootenanny picture on the right, barely, if you can. And
yeah, there it is.
I'm younger than that now. And so that's the title of the album. And it just got released August 1st and is now up on CD Baby to all the live streaming services. It'll be up probably in a week there. So I'm very blessed to be able to do it. And I had a great producer in Mike Hedrick, and I'm not done yet.
Oh, no. Now you've got to
still pick.
That's all that matters.
Yeah, by the way, Roger Allen and Roger Allen Wade and I are playing a show in Ringgold.
You got to be in Ringgold
on September 12th at Ringgold Depot Opry, down on Depot Street. And Ringgold, I'm doing an hour and he's doing an hour. So that's September 12th, Saturday at 7 to 9. It's $5. Can't beat it. It's like a broken drum. So enough about all that. Let's talk about what Red Zone wants to talk about.
No, that's why I got you on here. Everything that's going on in college football, and you had such, and still do, such deep ties.
Yeah.
To University of Tennessee.
Yeah.
Just your opinion. Are they doing the right thing in trying to play college football this year?
Well, it's a money thing.
Yeah.
You know that. It's all about money. They're going to be hemorrhaging money if they don't. The athletic departments of these big schools are. Now, the Pac-12, Big Ten have already sacked their seasons. So you got the Big 12, ACC, and the SEC, which is basically the power of football other than Ohio State and the Big Ten. So they're going to try. I hope they can find a way to do it, but I just don't see how they can. You can just see what's happening in Major League Baseball. And LSU had 30 COVID cases. Tennessee's lucky. They haven't had a single one, to my knowledge, in football. They've had a couple in basketball, a couple in the minor sports, but they've done a good job up there. So the odds are, like Buster Olney said about baseball, he said, what are the odds of them finishing the season? He said 0%. So that's ominous. So yeah. I hope they can pull it off. I seriously doubt it. I know the doc would say probably, come on, boys. It ain't going to happen. That's basically what he'd be saying.
Okay. Jeremy Pruitt's been there for a little bit now.
Yeah.
Was he who they were looking for in Knoxville?
Yeah, I think so. All you have to do is look at the rings. He has 5 national championship rings, 2 as a player, 2 as a coach at Alabama, and 1 as a coach at Florida State, where he was the defensive coordinator. and as a DC at Alabama and the defensive backs coach there, and of course too as a player at Alabama. You know, he originally signed with MTSU, played there, and then transferred to Alabama.
Yeah, and the thing
guy,
is,
the guy is a Saban protege, Jimbo Fisher protege. He's got the pedigree. The rest of his rings and the rest of his staff's rings combined 21 national championship rings.
yeah, the thing is, everybody's still all been out of shape about Lane Kiffin leaving.
Oh, you know, I don't blame Lane. Here's the story.
That was his dream job.
Of course it was. The story is they're down at the SEC coaches meetings getting ready to come back. They were down in, I think at Disney World or somewhere, down in Orlando somewhere. And he gets a call from Mike Garrett, rides their board in the UT plane to come back to Knoxville, who offers him the damn job, double his salary, $4 million versus $2 million in Knoxville. And then he says, "You've got to give me an answer." And it's his dream job, as you said. So he takes it. The problem was the way he handled the exit.
Yeah.
And he gave him 30 seconds and told him what was happening and then just left. And you don't do that to Tennessee football fans. And, you know, the painting of the rock and all that. And the guy I don't care what you say, he did a great job that one year he was at Tennessee. Jonathan Crompton was an absolute nothing quarterback, and he built him into it by the end of the season, an all SEC quarterback, and he almost beat Saban down there at Birmingham and Tuscaloosa.
I say
in fact, he got robbed.
I still say if he had not left, if he had stayed in Knoxville, Tennessee would have had another national championship.
Without a doubt. Look at his staff. Coach O, how good is he?
Oh, look what he's done.
His daddy, a defensive genius, the inventor of the pro cover 2 defense. I could go on Sam Pittman, who's the offensive line coach at Georgia now. Jim Chaney, who's now back at Tennessee after going to Georgia, after Lane got fired, or Georgia circuitous route to Georgia. Guy's one of the best in the business. I could go on and on. His coaching staff back in 2009 was a who's who, or is a who's who today. Pruitt, I think he can make it. I really do. It all depends on the quarterback.
That's it. And the thing is, in the SEC, everything goes through Tuscaloosa.
Yeah, and let me say another thing. I'm going to tell you, you know about the satchel, don't you?
Oh, yeah.
I told people the satchel was out at Ole Miss, and people were just haranguing me about it. You know, I was doing Mondays on 105.1 for a while there when all that was going down. Ain't no way a team that goes 2-10 the last 2 years recruits the best wide receiver in the country out of Illinois. And then, of course, what got him was the guy they got away from Georgia at the last minute because they paid him off. And then he turned on them, and they went on big probation. But I smell Clemson is dealing. They've been dealing. Why would anybody want to go there?
I can't figure that one out.
It's in the middle of nowhere. Why guys in New Jersey want to go there? Well, you know, just is what it is. Saban, I don't know. I will say this. Pruitt is having a really great recruiting there this year. I don't know if he's got a satchel or not. They've had him in the past.
Oh, yeah.
Willie Galt didn't come free. Neither did Reggie White. I could keep going.
Yeah. I mean, everybody knows.
Johnny's passed. Johnny hated me for the last part of his life.
Yeah. Let me get my camera back in focus. There we go.
All right.
I had to get back in focus.
Your son is really good at this.
He
really is.
He has done an amazing job with this stuff. So he's self-taught. He is literally self-taught.
Okay.
And hang on. That brings it back into focus for whatever reason.
Okay.
Couple of more things before I let you get out of here.
Sure.
Your wife, Barbara,
has
been a delegate to the Democratic Convention, correct?
1976 for Jimmy Carter. Her picture ran in the whole Gannett newspaper chain nationwide.
How
Dan Rather tried to pick her up. He was a floor reporter. There were a lot of stories.
How are they going to pull this convention off starting tonight, virtually?
It's not going to be the same. It's just going to be like you and I are doing. And they'll be making speeches like that. And it is what it is. I think they did the right thing. They couldn't do it in person. But it's not going to be the same, Ron. They can say what they want to, but it won't be.
I mean, people have still got to do what we're being asked to do.
Yeah.
Because you see the number of COVID cases just exploding.
It's a travesty, a tragedy and a travesty. And it's, you know how I feel about Trump. I won't get on my soapbox about that, but it's just the ball was dropped and it was too late to pick it back up, and then got dropped again when they reopened too soon, and you can see what's happened from there. And it ain't over, and it's going to come back in the fall. And God help us. I just hope we can get that vaccine soon and that it works.
And I'm not, try to stay out of the fray as much as I can. But after you have the Lincoln Day dinner,
that's stupid.
And now
no mask. And the
Representative
Mike Carter, representative, is in ICU fighting for his life. The people are stupid. We are under house arrest here by our daughters. We don't go anywhere. We got the dog and us, and we don't go anywhere. We drive around every once in a while, just looking around places, and every once in a while we'll ask somebody will bring us takeout and get it all set up for us and everything outside, and we'll get it, bring it back in and all that. But we're just sitting here. I probably 10 pounds that I don't need.
I go to the office, I come home.
Yeah.
And that's it. And it looks like we're not going to have football at Chattanooga this year.
I think the pros may play. Chattanooga isn't going to have the Southern Conference is already canceled.
I think they have until the 21st to see if they can schedule 4 games, but Finley is still, nobody's coming in, and you're on the board.
I know, I'm on the board of that, and that's a problem. I mean, we got one of those loans. It's a public corporation, so I can say that from the federal government. Thank God, we got it. Mike Davis, the great contractor who's head of the board now, succeeded Gordon Davenport. He and his staff applied. Chris Thomas, of course, runs it day to day, the Chattanooga market guy. Does a great job. And we're just trying to tread water until we can get back.
Start having folks.
And the soccer guys are hemorrhaging too. I don't know how what are the Red Wolves or
out in East Ridge.
I don't see how they're going to play.
They've had they had their opener and had about 800 people in that new stadium that was built. So there's one other thing, and I wanted to get to it. I mean, you were the big kahuna at Commerce Union.
That's a long time ago, buddy, 40 years ago.
But Guild Guitars.
Yeah.
How? I mean, I've had a Dean and a Hagstrom.
Well, they're 2 good imports.
And, I wish I'd have held on to that Hagstrom because it'd be worth several $1,000s now.
That's right.
The Dean, I let it go for $500. But
you asked me, how did that happen?
How'd you get into Guild Guitars?
1986, if I have any talent, it's a little bit of a visionary. Think Sport Talk. And I saw the banking business consolidating, where banks were buying each other up.
Yeah.
It's going to be bigger and bigger. I wasn't a bureaucrat. I was an entrepreneur within an organization, or as they call it, entrepreneur. And I didn't want any more of that. So in 86, I left the bank and formed my own little investment company called the Haskew Company, and got about 9 or 10 other partners here in town. Frank Fowler was one who's known. I won't name the others. Good people, and we looked for potential investments where we could buy something cheap and turn it around and flip it, that sort of thing. And so I got a call from George Gruen, the guitar guru over in Nashville, saying Guild is for sale, Jerry. And by the way, he could buy and sell me many times over now. He's a multimillionaire out of that business. And he worked his butt off to do it. But anyway, he was kind of a weirdo. But I took Paul Cheney from DeCosmo up there, and Paul's an expert on doing that sort of thing. And we looked at it. It was in horrible shape, so we bought it cheap. Nobody else was interested. They would have liquidated it otherwise. And best business decision I ever made in my life, I hired Kim Walker away from George Gruen. He was the best guitar builder and guitar tech anywhere. I hired him to run the factory. He'd never done anything like that before, but he did a marvelous job. And within a year, we had the guitar side of it turned around, and we're blowing and going. Martin was in trouble. Gibson was in trouble. And so we filled that gap. Gil was always famous for his 12 strings, but we had great 6-string acoustics and electric guitars and basses too. And so we had a really nice 6-year run. Took us about 2 years to turn it around financially. And we had some pretty good endorsees. A guy named Eric Clapton, a man named Johnny Cash, John Bon Jovi just coming out of the chute in his bunch, Aerosmith. I could go on and on. Randy Travis when he was first coming out. And who plays guitars is the number 2 reason why people buy them.
Yeah.
Number one reason is how it looks on them. Number 3 reason is how it sounds.
Yeah.
I swear to God. So we bought that company, and Fender came along, and 5 years later made us an offer we couldn't refuse. We sold it. I hated to sell it. We actually had a deal to buy Gibson, but their people didn't bring their financing to the table that they said they had. And so that was it. I might have still been in that business if we'd gotten that brand.
Well, I'd probably still own 2 guitars if I hadn't sobered up.
It was a nice adventure. Got to meet a lot of great music people, and it helps me in my business today. A lot of the songs that are on the album are by singer-songwriter friends of mine that I got to know during my Guild guitar days, because I spent so much time in Nashville with the artists and their managers and singer-songwriters and players. But I want to say this to you. What is that background you got? It's terrific.
Well, wink, wink, nod, nod. It's my living room.
Okay, I got you. It looks great. Whatever reason, it looks great. This show is great. You keep it better every day.
For the folks who are watching, if they look up in the corner, they will see a photo, and that is in tribute to my son, Christopher, who turns 33 today. And that is a photo when he was wrestling ICW NWA down in Florida. And if you can go to my Facebook page and see it, there's an old expression in professional wrestling.
Yeah.
He draws money.
Yeah, that's great. Is he a big boy?
He's out of the business. He is 33 and eaten alive with arthritis from the neck all the way down.
All those tumbles and
and dealt with post-concussion syndrome for several years. And he's out of it, but he loved it.
Well,
it's entertainment.
I know you're proud of your kids. How's Amy doing well now?
Amy's doing well. She is. You know, that's what's going to be funny. She's grandma. So, which made me a great grandpa. So, one more time, tell them how they can.
That's impossible. Man, I remember when she was first born.
Yeah. Tell folks one more time how they can get the CD.
You can get the CD by going to my Facebook page and just looking on there, and you'll see the post on how to get it. It's basically, you can either send me $20. It's 33 songs now. It's not 10 songs. It's 33 songs. It's a good piece of music. The musicianship is incredible. And I actually sing better than I ever have. I don't know why, but I'm just blessed about that. And maybe I wasn't that good to start with, but You can either do it through PayPal to jriches@aol.com. It'll tell you on there, or send me a $20 check. All they have to do is send me a Facebook message and through Messenger and with their shipping address and everything, and I can tell them how to do it. And also, within about a week, it's available now on bandcamp.com, BANDCAMP, bandcamp.com. Just type in Jerry Haskew in the search box, and it's $15 to download the whole thing.
That'll work.
And it'll download right to either your Android or your, not your phone. It has to be your desktop, your PC or your Mac. And then within about a week, it'll be up on CD Baby, cdbaby.com, where you can either buy the physical copy or download it through their system. But I appreciate the plugs.
Oh, that's why I wanted you on here. Got to look out for my friends. But
you do, and you're the great Red Zone, and you are the heir to Dr. Basketball. You really are. You're his heir.
well, I will call in his honor. I will call somebody an idiot tonight.
I think you should. And please put the congresswoman down here in North Georgia, that idiot, on the POS list for me.
Oh, yeah, she's already there, and so is the guy that ran against her.
Yeah.
Do you want a neurosurgeon coming after you with an AR-15?
No. No.
Thank you so much, my friend, for joining me tonight.
My pleasure, great Red Zone. Great
and
Red Zone.
I got a message here. Nick Monsanto, Jerry Haskew is the best.
Nick Monsanto is the best. Nick and I have stayed very close. We got close when he was doing sports here, and he's out in Vegas now. And he did sports radio out there for a long time, and he's in the real estate business and other businesses. And he and his wife are very happy out there. And Nick and I communicate almost every day.
Nick's a good guy, and maybe one of these days he will agree to come on here.
He'll do it. Just ask him. He'll do it.
Yeah.
He's great. You talk about a guy who knows his stuff. He knows his stuff. And he is like us. He's not afraid to tell it like it is.
Exactly. We will see you. Thank you, Jerry. We'll see you on September 12th.
September 12th at the Ringgold Depot Opry with Roger Allen Wade himself and the big ass Hapley family. Well, I'll have a good time.
Thank you so much, Jerry.
Okay. Thank you, Ron. Bye-bye.
Talk to you soon.
Okay, same.
What a great human being that is. And hopefully y'all enjoyed it. I see Pat Rose is out there. Hello, Pat Rose. I will be in touch with you this week because I want to have a very special edition where we talk about just how damn cheap Nick Gulas was. Nick Gulas is legendary for his cheapness, and you work for him. And so I want to get you on here, Pat Rose, to talk about cheap-ass Nick Gulas. Folks, it's been a great day. We had a little technical snafu at the beginning, so I'm going to repost the entire broadcast tonight, and that way you get it. Many, many thanks to the music man, Jerry Haskew, and he is on the Chattanooga Rushmore of music and radio. And what more can be said? A couple of things today. That dumbass Jalen Hurts is now starting a petition to try to get the Big Ten to have a football season. That might be the dumbest thing I have seen yet. High school football notes. Eastridge was able to get a game for this Friday. They're going to be playing Sell Creek over at Eastridge. Good luck, guys. That's all I can say. Because I don't think, my gut tells me high school football may last 3 to 4 weeks, and then they're going to have to shut it down. My grandson, the knee is fine, but he is seriously considering not going back because of COVID. And when a young man who just eats, breathes, and sleeps football is thinking, I may not play because this coronavirus scares me, hats off to my grandson. I'll stand by his decision either way. But, yeah, I'm still frightened by COVID. Trying to think. You got to understand it was a typical Monday. So Mondays are a pain in the ass. I took a break from social media yesterday, just a day to decompress. Every now and then you need to take a breath. So, like I did Saturday, I watched Godfather 1 and 2 all over again. They made me an offer I couldn't refuse. We will have some new additions to the piece of shit list before this week is over. That's the nice part of Facebook Live. You don't have to worry about the FCC. I can say shit. Nick, when you were on air, don't you wish you could say, somebody's an original piece of shit? But it was interesting. I think I told you that the athletic department Chattanooga stands to lose $2.5 million by not having fall sports. That's a lot of money. And again, let me urge you, make any kind of donation. Make any kind of donation to your high school that you support, because it's going to be vital. It's going to be vital that they have some money coming in. And we can only hope. There are lots of rumors circulating, and I bring them up, and that's Ridgeland because I still feel ties to that school also. That some rumors circulating about a possible first game for them this season. And Nick, if you don't object, I'm going to reach out to you sometime this week. I can't make any guarantees. Believe it or not, I got to go to court tomorrow for a traffic ticket I got in East Ridge in February. And here it is, August, and they finally are rolling cases through. I should be able to walk out. Probably be Thursday or Friday, Nick, if you don't mind, because I'd really like to have you on here. And then Wednesday, of course, I got to go back to the doctor for more blood work to see if my kidneys are improving. Okay, there's my personal BS for the night. Once again, that picture up in the corner right there above me. There we go. That's my son, Christopher. Very happy birthday. See, he's smart. He took after his dad. Because ex-wife number one, we got married on September 3rd. My birthday is on September the 6th. That way I would never forget. Christopher, he and Rachel's first anniversary was Saturday and his birthday's today. See, he's thinking, the worst thing you can do is forget your anniversary. That's a quick trip to the doghouse. And, buddy, it ain't fun. I don't have to worry about it anymore. Ex-wife number 2, I don't even remember what damn day we got married. Shoot me. But it's going to be interesting to watch this week. CSAS, Chattanooga School for the Arts and Sciences, is shut down. COVID. Classes have started back at UTC. Like 80 cases, active cases of COVID on campus at Chattanooga. And yeah, but like I said, we had a technical snafu, and I think the first 2 to 3 minutes of this did not stream live. So when we're finished, I will repost it both on YouTube and Facebook Live. Don't forget, subscribe to the podcast, which is what you're getting right now. I'm not going to bore you with advice and all of that. Let's just have some fun. That's all I want to do. Yeah. Let's just have a little fun, entertain each other, and then go about our business. But we will get this done. You can go back and find back episodes on any of the podcast platforms except for Apple. And I don't know what their damn problem is. But folks, I hope you enjoyed the time we spent with the music man, Jerre Haskew, a legend in this town. And somebody I like to call a friend. Thanks, everybody. Nick, I will reach out. And Pat, if you're still out there, I'm going to reach out to you so we can get those scheduled. Folks, it's Monday night. If you're going to go watch Raw, go watch Raw. Go, find a movie. TBS binge runs Family Guy. So you got that. Hallmark movies, there's plenty of stuff out there. We will be back Wednesday night at 7 o'clock. Don't forget, tomorrow night, tune in to Scenic City Sports. Rusty, Scott, Nathan, Ringgold Rob, and the crew will be there. And give them a watch. High school football is starting up this week in Tennessee, and they're going to tell you everything that's going on. So until Wednesday night at 7 o'clock, remember, please be kind to each other